welcome to my second project. So for this project we're looking at making different vehicles, making different cars. Now if you have Meccano, K'NEX, Lego, anything like that around the house, then that would be really good to practice your engineering skills on and trying to build a mobile vehicle. I don't have any of that available to me at the moment, so I've had to think on the basics. What have I got around the house and how can I make a car from what I've got? I'm going to talk you through is how to make this one. How to make the simplest little cardboard one. I've done this for Science Week. I've done it in lesson time. It's nice and simple and easy, and then students can try and improve the model. So we're going to use that one as a model, and to start with all you need is a little bit of cardboard. I've just got an Amazon delivery box, and then you will just need as well a few straws. Okay, so I've got everything set up now. Like I said, all I have is my cardboard. You can use a pair of scissors. I also have a craft blade, so I'm going to use that, but scissors absolutely fine. There's no difference between what you're using at the moment. Straws, and then to get the wheel shape you need something round. I'm just using what I have to hand, so that's my Vaseline pot. So I'm going to start first of all with my piece of cardboard here, and this is going to make for me the chassis, and it's going to make the wheels. So you don't need it that big. All size can be used, absolutely fine. So I'm just going to cut off these side wing bits because they'll be my wheels later. For the chassis it's best to start with just a rectangle, and then depending on the size I'm going to split it up. So I want a nice middle chunk, and then I want two wings that will fold down at the sides here like the side fairing. So I'm going to see how wide across it is. So mine's about 11 centimetres long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 2 centimetres in from each side, and then I'll draw a line there. So I'm going to go from this side first. I'll go 1, 2, just make a mark. 1, 2, make a mark. Okay, I'm going to do that again down the bottom here because I want as straight a line as possible. Fantastic. So now I've got it so that I've got just 2 marks either side. What I will do is I will draw a line straight down. I'm doing all of this in pencil so that I can decorate it later. So that's all I have to start with. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to score these, because these are going to fold down to make my side fairing here. So you can use scissors. Like I said, I have a craft blade, so I'm going to use that, but my scissors would do the exact same thing. Okay. And remember, you're just scoring. You don't want to cut it because you do want them there. You just want them to fold down really nicely. Fantastic. To make sure that's closed. So then all I'm going to do is using my ruler just to help me to make sure I don't get any bends that shouldn't be there. I'm going to fold my fairing over like this. So now we should have this shape, and we can see that's going to be making the main chassis of our car. So once I've got this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull those wings up, and I need to make the holes for the axles to go through. So these parts of the car, this is called the axle, and I need a hole either side at the same distance from the top for the axle to fit through nicely. So to do that, I'm going to measure it. So what I'm going to do is, if you remember, we did 2 centimetres either side. When I'm looking there, I'm going to hold my ruler up. I'm going to measure 1 centimetre in, and then that is where my axle hole is going to go. So for now I'm just going to do a dot, and then here I'm just going to do a dot. And again I'm going to do it same place symmetrically on the other side. If they're not symmetrical it won't work. So now I just have 4 holes in the side of my chassis. So you'll notice that I've left a bit of space down here, and that's because that's going to make the fold up front bit. You don't have to have that, but I just like the design of it, so I'm probably going to have it. Okay. So to allow for that front bit, I'm going to use my scissors, and where I have that excess space, I'm just going to cut about halfway down it. And I'm going to fold up that middle bit just so that I don't use it. Like that. Okay. So now when you pull it down, you should be able to see you've got holes in the equal place. So you're going to use your pencil and you're going to pierce, using those dots, a hole all the way through. Careful not to break your cardboard, but you do want the hole to be big because your axles, they need to be able to spin. For your wheels to move, they need to be able to spin. So the holes need to be bigger than the axle. So that's mine there. Okay. So I'm going to do that on each dot. You'll notice that I'm not using a screwdriver or anything. I'm literally just using my pencil just to make sure it's safe, and I'm making sure it goes between my fingers at the back, and that is just so that I can support the cardboard with my back fingers to make sure it doesn't break. Okay, so now I should have this. Okay, so I've got my 4 holes. What should happen is now my straws should go smoothly through both. This. And like this, and giving them a twist. They need to be able to turn quite easily, and that makes sure that the axle will spin and the wheels therefore will spin as well. If they don't, then you need to take it out. You need to use something bigger, and you just need to expand those holes a little bit to make sure there's plenty of play. Okay, so now I'm really happy with how they're spinning. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just get rid of the excess first of all. So this is going to be folding up for me, so I'm going to keep that folded up. That's like my windshield if you like. Now these bits at the front, I don't need these, so I'm just going to cut them to make sure the car is still aerodynamic. So I'm going to cut them down here. Okay. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So there you are. So now we've got a good shape for our car. So this is my windscreen and this is my chassis. So now I need to think about my wheels. To get the wheel shape, you can use anything. So I'm using my Vaseline pot over here, just to make sure that stays in. There we go. So I'm going to pop that to the side for a second. So I'm just going to use my Vaseline pot because it's big enough that when the wheels are attached, it lifts the car off the ground. So you can see the give here. If you do wheels that are too small and your wheels don't lift this chassis off the ground, your car is not going to go. So you need to make sure the wheels are big enough to lift that off the ground. So therefore, that will work nicely. So these extra bits of cardboard that I had earlier, I'm just going to use those. I'm going to place my Vaseline pot down and I'm just going to draw around the shape. So now I've got all my wheels and they should be about the same size. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make a hole for the axle to fit through. So with each wheel, again, use yourself a pencil. You are going to find the middle point of the wheel. You can do that by measuring. So you can do a cross and do it in the centre. Or you can judge with your eyes, that's absolutely fine. Remember, this is just our first one, this is our template. We can always improve, we can always make more wheels. I'm going to do a cross because I like to get it as correct as I can. Just to reduce any sort of errors. Okay, so then I'm going to pierce a hole through. The best thing when you're just piercing the hole is to start with, lean on a bit of cardboard wastage from earlier. Or blue tack. Blue tack would be amazing. And what you're going to do is you're going to pierce your hole through, and let's just make sure you don't go into the work surface underneath, like this. Okay? Amazing. So to start with, I've only got little holes. Okay, now I don't want the holes to be too big. If the holes are too big, like on our chassis, then the axles will spin. If the axles are spinning in the car and they're spinning on the wheels, it's not going to go anywhere. So these wheels need to be a perfect fit for this axle. So I'm going to use my pencil and I'm going to push through only enough for the straw to fit perfectly. So I'll do it and then I'll test it. Okay, maybe I need to go a little bit more. There we go, and I'll test it. Perfect, okay. So now what will happen is if you have it right, your axle will spin, but your wheel will not. Okay. Mine's going a little bit funny angle, and that's because I'm using the end of the straw, that's all. We'll be finalising that later. So if I push it down for now, then I can get rid of that bit of straw later. So you are going to do that with all 4 of your wheels. So you get a nice spin like that. Amazing. Okay. So now what you should have is a car that looks just like the one in the picture here.